This blue square inside Central Park is the actual size of Jerusalem. It's less than 50 square miles in size. And yet, it's where some of the bloodiest wars in history have been fought. Kings, prophets, crusaders, sultans, and even prime ministers have fought over it. There was even a 6-day war that forever changed the course of Jerusalem's history. And at the heart of it all are 3 religions seeking to gain control over the land, as hope for peace is fleeting. But will Jerusalem ever have true, lasting peace? Let's discuss it in today's episode of Light's History. Jerusalem's story begins over 5,000 years ago, around 3000 BCE, when early settlers, likely the Canaanites, established a village near the Gihon Spring. By the 17th century BCE, it had grown into a fortified city under Canaanite rule, with massive walls protecting its water system. Around 1000 BCE, King David captured Jerusalem from the Jebusites, a Canaanite tribe, and made it the capital of his kingdom. He brought the Ark of the Covenant to the city, establishing it as the religious center for the Israelites. David's son, King Solomon, built the first temple around 957 BCE, according to biblical accounts. This temple became the central place of worship for the Jewish people, housing the Ark of the Covenant in its innermost chamber, the Holy of Holies. The construction of the temple marked Jerusalem as the spiritual heart of Judaism. Even though the temple was destroyed in 586 BCE by the Babylonians, its significance endures, and the site remains sacred in Jewish tradition. So, from its early days as a Canaanite settlement to becoming the capital under King David and the site of Solomon's temple, Jerusalem's ancient beginnings laid the foundation for its enduring religious significance. And with this, the first conquest of Jerusalem began. Before we move on to the next section, please don't forget to subscribe if you liked the video so far.
Was the Babylonian Empire, led by King Nebuchadnezzar II. He sought to expand his territorial holdings and successfully besieged Jerusalem in 597 BC.
In 586 BCE, King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon decided he wanted Jerusalem for himself. He laid siege to the city, and after 2 years, his army broke through. They destroyed Solomon's temple, burned houses, and tore down the city walls. King Zedekiah tried to escape but was captured. The Babylonians took many people into exile, starting what's known as the Babylonian captivity. Fast forward to 539 BCE, the Persians, led by Cyrus the Great, conquered Babylon. Cyrus allowed the Jews to return to Jerusalem and rebuild their temple, marking the beginning of the Second Temple period. Then came the Greeks. In 332 BCE, Alexander the Great took over Jerusalem. After his death, his generals divided the empire, and the Seleucids eventually controlled the city. They tried to impose Greek culture, leading to tensions with the Jewish population. The Romans entered the scene in 63 BCE when General Pompey captured Jerusalem. They installed local rulers like Herod the Great, but kept real power in Roman hands. In 70 CE, the Jews rebelled against Roman rule. The Romans, led by General Titus, besieged Jerusalem during Passover. After months of fighting, they breached the city's defenses and destroyed the Second Temple. This event led to the Jewish diaspora, as many Jews were killed, enslaved, or fled the city. And shortly after that, Jerusalem faces the greatest crisis ever known. A young man starts preaching in the city, and his name is Jesus Christ.
Jerusalem's population reached an estimated 70,000 to 100,000 people. The vast majority of these were Jewish.
During the year 30 CE, a young man began preaching a new religion based on kindness and love. The rabbis believed they would rid the land of this false prophet named Jesus Christ through crucifixion. Little did they know, this act would mark the birth of one of the 3 largest religions in the world. Jerusalem became a central hub for Christians after Emperor Constantine's conversion to Christianity in the early 4th century. In 326 CE, Constantine commissioned the construction of the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, on what was believed to be the site of Jesus' crucifixion and burial. This monumental church was completed and dedicated in 335 CE, transforming Jerusalem into a major center of Christian pilgrimage. The church encompassed both Golgotha, the site of the crucifixion, and the tomb where Jesus was believed to have been buried and resurrected. The original structure included a rotunda called the anastasis over the tomb, and a basilica known as the martyrium. Over the centuries, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre faced destruction and reconstruction. It was damaged by the Persians in 614 CE, restored in 626 CE, and later destroyed by the Fatimid Caliph al-Hakim in 1009 CE. The church was rebuilt in 1048 CE and underwent further modifications during the Crusader period. Today, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre remains one of Christianity's holiest sites, attracting pilgrims from around the world. Recent archaeological excavations have uncovered ancient remains, including olive and grape traces, supporting the biblical accounts of a garden near the crucifixion site. If there's a place in this sacred city for two religions to coexist, why not a third one? As people were getting accustomed to the new religion in the city, in the 7th century, Jerusalem experienced another earth-shattering transformation. Between 635 and 638 CE, Muslim forces under the leadership of Caliph Umar ibn al-Khattab peacefully took control of the city. Unlike previous conquests, this transition was marked by respect for the city's inhabitants and religious sites. For Muslims, Jerusalem holds profound spiritual significance. According to Islamic tradition, the Prophet Muhammad embarked on a miraculous night journey known as Al-Isra wal-Mi'raj, traveling from Mecca to Jerusalem and then ascending to heaven from the rock at the center of the city. To commemorate this event, the Umayyad Caliph Abd al-Malik commissioned the construction of the Dome of the Rock, completed in 691 to 692 CE. This stunning structure, with its iconic golden dome, stands on the Temple Mount, a site sacred to all three Abrahamic religions. Nearby, the Al-Aqsa Mosque was established, becoming a central place of worship for Muslims. Over the centuries, it has been rebuilt and expanded, reflecting the city's dynamic history. Today, Jerusalem is revered as the third holiest city in Islam, after Mecca and Medina. However, the Christian leaders in Europe weren't going to hand over the most sacred city in the world. So, cue the Crusades. The Christians didn't want Islam to turn their sacred city into a place for Muslim pilgrimage. So, in the Middle Ages, Jerusalem was like the ultimate prize in a never-ending game of capture the flag. In 1099, during the First Crusade, European knights stormed the city after a grueling siege. Once inside, they unleashed a horrific massacre, killing thousands of Muslims and Jews. Some accounts suggest the death toll reached up to 40,000, though exact numbers are debated. The Crusaders even converted Islamic holy sites into Christian churches, renaming the Dome of the Rock as the Temple of God. Fast forward to 1187, and enter Saladin, the renowned Muslim leader. After defeating the Crusaders at the Battle of Hattin, he laid siege to Jerusalem. Unlike the brutal conquest of 1099, Saladin's recapture of the city was marked by mercy. He allowed many Christians to leave peacefully, and those who couldn't afford the ransom were often freed through the generosity of others. The Crusades didn't end there. The Third Crusade, led by figures like Richard the Lionheart, aimed to retake Jerusalem, but ultimately failed. A treaty in 1192 allowed Christian pilgrims access to the city, but control remained with the Muslims. Countless years and wars later, Jerusalem is still the place of countless wars and discord. People are still fighting for this holy land. But is there an end in sight? Want to understand the world better? Start with history and subscribe to our channel. Jerusalem's modern journey is a whirlwind of empires, wars, and dreams. So we'll jump forward a little in time. After World War I, the British took control of Palestine, including Jerusalem, under the League of Nations mandate system. This period saw increasing tensions between Jews and Arabs as both groups aspired for self-determination. In 1947, the United Nations proposed a plan to partition Palestine into separate Jewish and Arab states, with Jerusalem designated as an international city due to its religious significance. However, this plan was met with mixed reactions, leading to further conflict. By 1948, Israel declared independence, prompting neighboring Arab states to invade. The ensuing war resulted in Israel controlling West Jerusalem, while Jordan took East Jerusalem, including the Old City. The Six-Day War in 1967 dramatically altered the landscape. Israel captured East Jerusalem from Jordan, unifying the city under its control. This move was internationally contentious, with many countries not recognizing the annexation. Jerusalem's significance stems from its deep religious roots. For Jews, it's the site of the ancient temples. Muslims revere it as the location of the Prophet Muhammad's night journey. Christians cherish it as the place of Jesus' crucifixion and resurrection. If three faiths all claim the same holy city, can true peace ever exist there, or is Jerusalem doomed to be the world's most sacred tug-of-war forever? Let us know in the comments below. Here's another video history buffs enjoyed watching. Bye for now.